health and just getting your blood flowing the way you want it to go. And I mean, life has this funny ways of, like, when you analyze your own life, it has this funny ways of making you smile, even through the good and bad.
Yep, through the good and bad. Sometimes we don't actually see what it is that we're going through until we take ourselves out the frame. And welcome out the experiences. Those times are what makes you. Those times are what's helping you adapt to the circumstances that you're going through.
And I mean, I seen that we had some I love this page. Yeah, man, it's just a platform of positivity. We are on YouTube, so I encourage everybody who's in the live to go check us out on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, which is Motivation Mondays Live, where we are live, where you can interact with our chat the same way we do here. And we have a question box, so I always love when people can while we're having a conversation, feel free to chime in if you have any questions or anything you'd like to say. You can use the question box there. That's the circle with the question mark in there, and we can have a discussion, because I like to, we like to hear from other people too. This platform for everybody. And I see a lot of new faces coming in, so welcome as well too. We're just here talking about success and failure. And as we're talking about this, what are the things that we can learn from our successes and from our failures?
Well, from failures, we just know that the triumph, the resilience, that is possible. Like, I mean, most people go through hard times and they think this is it. This is all they'll ever be. There's nothing they can make out of it. And experiencing success, that it requires diligence, it requires discipline, it requires consistency and good habits of staying at something. And most importantly, what I gotta say about success is, don't let small success dilute you, right? Meaning, don't let your small achievements stop you from working on bigger goals, right? I know sometimes we get a win and like to celebrate or to have a full-blown parade, but it's the coming of times, right? It comes for new times. It comes for you to become a better version of yourself, right? Just remember what it took for you to get where it is that you are right now, and it's going to require much more for you to get to the next level.
And there you have it right there. And I mean, it's a beauty that, we get to learn from our mistakes, and it only helps us better. But, I know that saying where it's like, as long as you learn from your mistakes and you don't make it again, then that in itself is a positive note.
That's growth.
That's growth.
We are going to make mistakes, right? The question is not to repeat those mistakes, right? Whenever something goes wrong or we find out something doesn't work, it's because we didn't know it. We're limited in our information. So we got new information for the next level. And that's why I always question people sometimes. Yes, you cannot learn for everything that may come across your path, but you find your tools, right? Start acquiring those set of skill sets that you might come across, so everything hasn't become a challenge, right? Start thinking, not to enjoy the moment, live in the present, forget about the past, and look forward to the future, I may say, right? But the key is look forward to the future. By looking forward into something, you see something that you may potentially have to deal with upcoming towards you. What I mean by acquire those skill sets, right? Need those valuable tools that you need, right? Because I don't want people, forget about the past. We're not even going to bother with the past. Never do. There's nothing they can do about it. Don't dwell on the past. It's the thief of joy. And also the present, live in it, right? Do not worry too much about the future, because that you get into the territory of anxiety, right? When you start worrying about things you cannot control. So enjoy the moment and just prepare yourself for the future. Look forward to something. Better days ahead. No matter how hard it is right now, there's better days ahead.
100%. Good morning to y'all too. I see some of the good morning comments on our live. So once again, to our IG Live family, we're live on YouTube Live. To our people who are tuned into YouTube, shout out to y'all as well too. And if you're just joining us on the YouTube, make sure you click the like button once you get in. Right now we're talking about success and failures. And to our new people who are just, maybe somebody sent you the page, Motivation Monday, we do it on IG Live and YouTube Live, so you can check out our page on YouTube and be part of the live conversation, the live going on as well there. And we welcome all our new subscribers. So I've been seeing some of the comments in there. Good morning, Grace. Click are always on the YouTube page. I see you in the live chat. So shout out to our people who keep supporting and having these conversations. And can you think of a time where maybe a failure made you like? Let me package this correctly. Can you think of a time where a failure happened to you, where something didn't go as planned, but you were able to use that to create another success?
Well, it feels the energy. Most things, why I focus on some of the things that I need to do, commitment myself to those things, because I think about those times I didn't commit myself. And I feel like I left certain stones unturned. I feel like I never lived my full potential. And I'm not saying I'm here living with regret, because I know my capability. I know days that I took time off that I know I could have done more than I did. So it's through all those moments. And I never, moving forward, I never want to go into another day feeling like that. I want to know each day that I gave it my very best. Even if I was sick, I still want to know that I tried my very best.
Yesterday, you saying that just made me remember, because yesterday my boy, we had this group chat and he's like, yo, pull up to the house and let's just get some stretching. And it was something that we used to do all the time when the pandemic started and kind of slacked. So yesterday I got back into stretching routine and I realized, oh my goodness, I gotta do this, because I don't want to feel the way I felt yesterday. So it's one of those things where you brought that up, where you remember the times where you're committed to something and you didn't. So now I encourage everybody here. I don't care how old, female, male, stretching is very important. So
Stretching, take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live.
You know, I remember a couple of years ago, like while we were stretching yesterday, it took me a while to touch the floor, but me and my boy was laughing. He's like, yo, this is why it's so important, because you could think that you always got it, and then boom, there you have it right in the moment. Like, oh my goodness.
Time will always remind you that you're not invincible.
So yes, that's I don't know if anyone has any questions about success and failures, or I think that kind of wraps up that segment. And you know, why is it sometimes when individuals fail or something goes wrong, they feel it's the end?
Because they let them define who exactly they are, right? Like I always try to encourage people, what it is that you're going through is not who you are, it's just your circumstances, temporary inconvenience. Now they feel like they can't go through something. This is exactly who they are, this is exactly what they deserve, right? Take full responsibility, take accountability, but don't do self-blame. Just understand that what it is that you're going through, you didn't have the skill sets, right? You didn't have the knowledge, right? You didn't have the support system that you needed to create for yourself, right? You know, we're just so self-judgmental, right? We have this upward comparison where we assume that things only happen to us because we deserve it and this is all we're ever going to get. We are more than that, right? You're more than that. You can be much better than who you are. I always tell people that each day you get 1% better than who you are, you'll be shocked how your life will be a month from now, right? So don't let situations or circumstances define you.
There we have it. That's like a mic drop right there. I don't think we got to talk too much or more about it. Welcome all our new people as well too. I see we're engaging. So shout out to our people who are sharing the live as well too. And I encourage everybody who's in here right now, let's click that arrow button, share the live out, and let's let everybody know what's going on right now. Circumstances makes us who we are.
Yeah.
And I believe that 100%. And you know, you always have that saying where you talk about if you're in like a puddle, just don't stay in it.
Yeah, if you're in a dark place, don't sit in it, right? Don't dwell in it. It gets much darker. And when the odds and the chips are stacked against you, it gets much more difficult, right? It starts to mess with you internally, right? The external factors, it is what it is. We all go through something, but the question is, what are you going to do about it? But don't turn those external factors internal. If things happen to you on the outside, it doesn't define what it is that's inside you, right? Once we talk about the battle within, once we lose that battle, it's a tough hill to climb. It's a mountain to climb.
And you know, as you bring that analogy, I guess when you reach the bottom of a mountain and you got to climb back up, there's certain things, if you ever watch these videos, that you'll need. So it's okay to ask for help or to realize that's, you know, you can't just if you fall back on a mountain, you're not just going to use your bare hands to climb up. There's certain things that you're going to need.
You need a support system.
So,
and those people at the top of the mountain find a bigger mountain, right? If people be like, it's not that I'm not satisfied, it's not that I don't give the parades, and because I understand the purpose of having something meaningful and continuously working on yourself. I think that avoids us from dealing with anything else, knowing that there's something pulling us forward. Because the minute that you rest, like I just said, I don't sit back and say, I give people the recognition deserved, right? I don't sit back and say this is not enough, you could have done more. I'm happy for you, I'm great for you, but I know you're not your best yet. Whatever it is that you're doing, you could do much better than that. If you're in sales and you made $1,000 sales last week, I'm here to tell you, you can make 1,001. If that just means making that extra call, right? If you're in the gym, you can make one more rep. Each week you're getting stronger, right? And that's the unique thing about humans, that I don't think nobody ever reached your full potential. Because whatever it is that you could do in this moment, right now, right? If you work on that continuously, next week you could do more than what you were able to do last week, right? That's why I believe no matter who it is that you are, you will never reach your full potential. You will never reach your full potential. If you went to school, got your PhD in a scope field, on a direct discipline, you could go back and learn something else. So if it's a continued pursuit of growth and education, there's always somewhere else for you to grow as an individual and as a person. And I believe that's the only way we could go through life, having a fulfilled life. Or else if we leave it to the wind, we'll never feel like we're good enough. We come with our shortcomings and we start to judge ourselves and feel bad about ourselves. This doesn't mean don't be happy with what you have or what it is, your circumstance. But I'm here to tell you, you're capable of doing much more. You are capable of doing much more. The key to life is be happy with everything that you have in pursuit of everything that you want.
And
that's the balance.
Our mindset plays a big role into understanding that, though.
Yep, it is, because you gotta. There's a perfect balance you gotta be in, right? Being grateful, at the same time understanding there's more of it to come. Not entitlement, understanding that there's more. When you come to understanding, you know how it works, meaning you know what it is that you need to do, right? So being grateful for what you have and understanding there's more yet to come that's on its way, right? But that requires process. That requires you doing the things that you know you need to do to get what it is that is yet to come your way.
Cool. I mean, one more up, speak Max. Yes, sir. They're loving the way he's talking. You know, Max talks that talk, so that's what you're gonna get from him when we come to this platform. And I mean, that literally sums up that first topic where we talk about success is never final and failure never fatal. Failure is never fatal, which is success and failure that we break it down. So these are some of the keys to life. And, you know, as we wrap up the first month of the year, which is January, the first 31 days, you know, analyze, look back and see how your month went. And, you know, prepare for the next months and the years ahead. There's 11 months to go. And, you know, this is one day that we are blessed to wake up, and tomorrow hopefully the same thing happens by the grace of God, and we keep it moving and grooving, and understand that, you know, next month you don't have the 31 days. We got 28 days. So don't think you can have the exact same month. The world, the universe won't even allow it just based off of the day. So, you know, let's take some of what we were talking about. And I always encourage people, when we have these lives and when you get into information sessions like this, have a notepad, have a pen to take some notes so that you can look back. Because, you know, it's one thing to hear things, but if you have it written down, you can go back and go over it.
Don't trust your memory, right? Don't just leave it to recall. You actually have a better chance of recalling things if it's written down, right? Don't trust your memory as a filing cabinet. There's so much going on, you know. And if something that I said or my brother Ebon said 5 minutes ago had a meaning to you, right? But now it will be difficult for you to recall, right? So write things down, right? Write things down.
And, you know, once again, I want to shout out, I see our YouTube live. We're on YouTube live as well too, and IG live. So I see the new followers coming in too. Feel free to click the link in our bio and you can head to our YouTube page and watch exactly what you're tuned into right now on our YouTube, and then you can see some of our past videos and some of the highlights and gems that we put up there. And we encourage you, when you come into the YouTube page, click the like button, subscribe, tell a friend, turn the post notifications on so you don't miss a heartbeat. But our second topic that we're going to talk about is 7 truths we all need to accept, and then we're going to talk about 5 reminders you need to hear. So it's 11:03 right now, so maybe do you want to wait till 11:11 to get into that one?
Now we get into a topic and we break halfway.
Okay, perfect. So let me get into that right now, and then we'll have that discussion. So 7 truths we all need to accept. Number 1, self-awareness. Self-awareness is realizing that there is no opponent. You're fighting against yourself.
Self-awareness is the key to anything. Like, I mean, when we talk about acknowledging your faults, acknowledging your doubts. This is like, we seen this on all levels. Like, we're talking people that seek therapy, that if you're not aware of what it is that you're going through, what it is you need to do, you never take the initiative, you never do what it is that you need to do. Right? So self-aware, and other people may see it, but if you don't see it, you never start the process of doing what it is that you need to do. Right? So self-awareness is key.
And I mean that,
acknowledge your faults.
You said it right there.
Acknowledge your faults.
And that's why I encourage people. Me, I'm a person, when I wake up and I get my day started, I look in the mirror, I talk to myself. I talk that talk and get myself going. That's just something I do. And the more you do that, like, I find it, like, not everything I do is going to work for everybody else, but the more you have these conversations with yourself and talk up about yourself, it only helps boost confidence, which is key.
Yep.
You know, and we've all been through our own, like, nobody knows what we're all going through. Like, I've had my ups and downs. Max, I'm pretty sure you've had your ups and downs.
Definitely.
But, you know, we keep our head up and we understand that this is life, that this is what it comes with. So I came back from Ghana and my car was acting up, and I actually laughed about it because I'm like, how do I expect to come back and everything would just be smooth? Like, this is life. So I was talking to somebody and they're laughing. I'm like, why is it funny? I'm like, because how could I expect everything to go smooth? This is what life is about. And they're like, that's crazy. But I guess the Motivation Monday really it helps when you use it to your own lifestyle.
We all go through it, right? We're no special, you know. We all have our challenges and problems. We all have some problems just as anybody else does. I'm not invincible, but sometimes the problems are much bigger than my discipline, my commitment, which makes us human. So don't ever feel like you're not good enough or there's lack of, and just be aware of who it is that you are and what you're capable of, right?
So now, if you lack self-awareness, what are the dangers in that?
Write down what it is that you go through. At the end of the night, I said this before, at the end of the day, right, when you're in bed and you're going to bed, just ask yourself these questions. Have I done everything that I can? And is it helping me to become the person who it is I need to be for tomorrow? Right? Ask yourself these questions, right? Because if you ask other people, you might feel like they're judgmental, you might feel like they're biased. So I ask you to ask yourself, like you say, you talk yourself in the mirror, right? Set out a goal plan. Set out a day plan. Plan your day, have a routine. And then go through the checklist. Did you do everything that you say you're going to do? Eventually, you see where you may have fallen short on the things that you want for yourself. When you go back and you're able to redact or retract where it is that you started your day and where it is that you ended. So ask yourself these questions. Track your own movement, right? Conduct yourself like a business. Have a day-to-day transaction that you need to be aware of. So I think that's where you'll start if you lack self-awareness. Ask yourself questions and illustrate your days. Plan out your days so you'll be able to go back and track it. You don't need nobody to tell you why this happened to you and why you didn't get this done, right? You go back and have the meeting with yourself. Let's have a review on how my day was supposed to be. And what it is that I went wrong. Did I skip out on having that business call at 10 a.m.? Was I short on the 200 calls that I was supposed to make for the week? And now I didn't, and my sales is short 200? There it is. There's your answer. So have a routine, have your day planner, and ask yourself those questions every night. Have the meeting with yourself.
So it's good to keep receipts on
yourself. Don't just let people keep receipts on you, because people are going to keep receipts on you. You don't need them to tell you that.
Dope. And our second one, so that was the first one, 7 truths we all need to accept. We just talked about self-awareness. The second one is, someone likes you, you'll know. If they don't, you'll be confused. And this goes to so many aspects, whether relationship, just people, like, you know, they always say, like, if you're not invited, don't worry about going to a certain place. There's probably a reason, and don't let it bite you. So
if you gotta exert yourself in a situation, that kind of gives you the cue. Right? People include you in your stuff. And that's why I encourage people is that when you're going through celebration, allow your friends to celebrate with you. Right? Don't feel like nothing is too small. Right? You leave that onus to them. Right? Don't worry about being accepted. Don't worry about exerting yourself. You know where it is that you belong. So like you said, you kind of know who likes you and who don't, and where it is that you're welcome and where it is that you're not.
And you know, don't I'm trying to find the right word, not like begging, but like, you don't always gotta be everywhere. You know what I mean? You're
unique. Your acquired taste. Not everybody could get a taste of you. It's not a sample. Acquired taste. You're stocked up on the top shelf. They need the manager to come open the case, all right, for people to have access to you.
And you know, I wanna take the time before we get into our third one to Shoutout Wavy Digital Media. So if you're looking for any content creation, I know we have a lot of like-minded people and entrepreneurs in here. Make sure that you check out Wavy Digital Media. I'll put it here into our conversation as we speak. If you're looking for any flyers, graphic designs, he's the man behind the scene that helps us out and helps a lot of great people. So make sure you check him out. And to our people on YouTube Live, we encourage everybody to, help one another. We all have a family. We all have somebody who we can outsource to people. So, shout out to my brother Capo. Morning to you, Mike. Morning to you too as well too. But if anyone's looking for anything graphic related, content related, make sure you check out Wavy Digital Media. I put it there, right there in our conversation. So give him a follow, check him out, send him a DM or email for any business inquiries. So the third one, the best revenge is getting yourself to a place where you no longer care about the revenge. Sometimes with revenge, everyone always wants to get back, but there's a calculated, like there's a strategic way when you're able to step back and not really attack and think about it before you let the anger get the best of you.
Yes, sir. And this is deep. Before we get into that, let's get into the weekly gem.
All right, perfect. So it's 11:10. I'm gonna bring up our weekly gem, and this one, honestly, I saw it and I thought about it. So I'm gonna need everybody's help, whether you're in the YouTube Live or in the IG Live right now. So our affirmation today is actually I am, and we're gonna leave the blank because as we end the month, I want everybody to fill in that blank. So when I say I am, everybody in the comments, you can fill it out. This can be about yourself. So for myself, mine would be I am determined.
I am committed.
So everybody fill in the blank. So I am, and put it in the comment, put it in the YouTube Live. I want it to be more like this one. Usually we come up with a whole sentence, but this one I feel like there's a power in I am when we speak about ourselves and and my bad, I didn't tell you in advance. I was supposed to let you know, but that's Max's speaker right on the right, right.
I'm committed. I'm staying true to who it is.
I am great. Perfect. Yeah. Everybody join in, so I said I am determined. He's committed. I am great. Let's tell these things to ourselves to help. And why can these powerful affirmations, when we talk about ourselves, how can they help us, encourage us to be better?
Genetic code and the brain processes, it start to tap into what it is that you're asking for. When we say something to ourselves, our brain scrambles to try to figure out and get answers, and we start to act accordingly. Right? We kind of psych ourselves into doing certain things. Same way we psych ourselves not to do certain things, let's start psyching ourselves into doing things that benefit for us, right? I am consistent. I am patient. These are all great. These are all lovely. And these are all things that we should say to ourselves. You should say to yourself every single day, every single morning. Even when things go bad, right? You say, this doesn't define who I am. I'm fully capable of overcoming everything that's presented to me.
Perfect. And you know what's crazy? With everybody typing in, I'm going to show you what's good, my bro, Saif. That's 2 weeks in a row. I see you really locked in. So I said, I am determined. Max said he is committed. We have I am great, I am consistent, I am success, I am patient, I am getting to where I'm going every day. And ladies and gentlemen, that's our affirmation for today. And just like that, teamwork makes the dream work. And it's beautiful. Like I just felt like we got to switch it up. And it's beautiful to see it when we can come together as a community. And you see, everybody should feel better with themselves when they just said that. Because you're talking about yourself. It's about you. This platform is making sure that, we let people know you versus you. You're the only competition. You just got to be better than you were yesterday. And like Max was talking about 1%, if you literally commit to being 1% better every day, you'll be so shocked at how much of a difference you can make for yourself in a month. And anything can change. So that's our affirmation for today. And thanks to everybody who participated too. That's what's up. And to our people who are new, we were just talking about affirmation, and we were letting everyone know that our affirmation today is I am, and you have to fill in the blank. So to our new people coming, you just gotta, I am. We had people say great. We had some people say successful. We had some people say I am patient, I'm consistent, I'm committed, I am desired. So there's so many things, positive affirmation that we can speak of ourselves, and I encourage everybody to do these on a daily. So we're gonna get back to what we were talking about. So we were talking about the 7 truths we all need to accept. So the first one was self-awareness. The second one was if someone likes you, you'll know, and if they don't, you'll be confused. The third one was the best revenge is getting yourself to a place where you no longer care about the revenge. And the fourth one is going to be life is not tiring. Wanting life to be a certain way but not having the confidence to make it that way is tiring.
Can I hear that again?
So the other one is life is not tiring. wanting life to be a certain way but not having the confidence to make it that way is tiring.
Yes, I mean, you design your future. You take full responsibility for everything that happens to you moving forward. You know, we may not have wanted the circumstances that we're put in, i.e. being born into a family where we live certain predisposed, but as eventually you start to take onus of your life, right? You start to notice that, for example, I always tell people, if you don't like where you live, move. You're not a tree, right? And if you need certain situations to be in place before you can move, well, then start doing those things that you need to do, right? And that's what we talk about: confidence, high self-esteem. I think it's the antidote to anything, right? And I think it's what helps us to know that when things get tired, we have to keep going, right? That the circumstance and situation, once again, I said, it does not define who we are, but rather having the belief system, right? Knowing that we'll do everything that it is that we need to do to get where it is that we want to. So life is life, right? You know, somebody said, what life is what happens to us when we make plans for ourselves, right? Let me say that again. Life is what happens to us when we make plans for ourselves. So as long as you know, you have the confidence to stay on track, know that you will overcome the obstacles that you're facing, that you'll get from point A to point B, no matter what detour it takes you on, no matter what it is, the obstacle, family obstacle, friends obstacle, relationships obstacle, occupation obstacle, but you're going to get to your destination is what it is that you need to do. And high self-esteem is the energy booster behind all of that.
And I like the key word that I like from that is it says having the confidence to make it that way, because that's what makes us do exactly what we need to do, knowing that we can do it and you can do it.
Your belief system, you shock your belief system will take you into places that you could never imagine.
Dope. So we're gonna get into our fifth one. The fifth one is where it comes to 7 truths we all need to accept is you have to stop prioritizing being loved by others over the love you have for yourself.
Self-love is the best love, right? You cannot put out what you don't have. You cannot tell people to love you if you do not love yourself, and you cannot put out what you don't have. And until you start to appreciate whatever it is that you have, right? No matter how small, no matter how big, until you start to appreciate those things, you will never get the appreciation that you feel that you deserve, right? So self-love is key, right? And self-love by that is not meaning being sorry, that's the words. Self-love does not mean being overly confident in yourself that you're better than anybody. It just means that you love yourself for who it is that you are, for the circumstances that you're in, for everything that you're capable of doing, right? And you present yourself as such, and you allow other people to love you. So like I said, you cannot give something that you should not have for yourself, and you cannot expect people to love you if you do not love yourself. Deeply and truly. Don't just say it to yourself. What I mean, that's why I said deeply and truly believe that you actually have self-love.
You know, they say you can't pour from an empty cup. So it's like you gotta make sure you're straight before anybody else is straight. So I love that you touched up on that. Self-love is the best love. Now the other one right now is, if someone is offended by your boundaries, that's their problem.
Can you read that again, brother?
If someone is offended by your boundaries, that's their problem.
Yes, set your boundaries, right? Don't lose yourself, right? Often when people express themselves with relationship, especially they probably gave too much into something, did not get that kind of return. They escape who it is that you are. So this falls back into self-love, right? Loving yourself first, right? Self-interest is okay, not selfish, right? Putting your self-interest, it's okay, right? But putting yourself first is a big difference. Self-interest is okay, not selfishness. So set your boundaries, right? So when things go wrong, you don't feel like you lost yourself, because we commit ourselves, we give ourselves to people, and we don't get nothing back, so we lose on that end. And then we escape our boundaries. We left the circle, the boundary that it is that we're in. Now, not only we lose whatever it is that we get, we also lost ourselves. Then we know where it lands, and then we could get into all that kind of mental effects that plays on us believing that this is all there is for us and we'll never be anybody. So just self-love, boundaries, that's all part of it, right? Understand this is who you are, and that is that you want, right? You do not have to commit yourself to one thing or one person or anything. So I'm talking about a job. Same thing, we're not just talking about relationships, about how you deal with people. But if your job wants you to step out your boundaries for you just to do what it is that you want. And even in times like these, there's still jobs there and opportunities, right? And believe in yourself. Like I said, doubt your doubts, believe your beliefs.
And I feel like as a generation, we gotta learn it's okay to say no. That's
Like we said this a while back, right? Saying no to or saying yes to yourself is saying no to others, or saying no to others is saying yes to yourself, right? Don't become a victim of yourself. Don't let your mouth overload your back. Don't psych yourself into something that you know you're not prepared for yourself, right? And then we sit there and we talk about regret and things I should have, would have done, right? Nothing more disservice than giving yourself to something or someone and not receiving that same thing back. So say your boundaries, right? Don't let your mouth overload your back. Don't become victims of yourself.
And our last one, right now we're talking about, I see a lot of people join us. Right now we're talking about 7 truths we all need to accept. The last one is expecting perfection from life, friends, your partner, your career, and from yourself is the enemy of happiness.
Yep. Perfection is paralysis. Nobody's perfect. Well, like I just said, what's perfect? It's just a goalpost that we set ourselves that we'll never reach. Nothing is perfect, right? Something could always get better. So having this mindset, I have to be perfect before I do this, and everything has to fall in line. Like my brother said, it's the thief, it's the enemy of happiness and dealing with everything that comes across you. So don't expect people to be perfect because you're not perfect. We all have problems. Some problems are bigger than the other. Don't judge people. Those who judge fail to think.
That was deep. And I guess that wraps up our 7 truths we all need to accept. And we're going to break this down on our YouTube page as well too. I will get it on our Instagram page, where I think it's important that we have these conversations. So as we get ready, I know we have about like 10, 12, 15 minutes, I believe. Our last topic is 5 reminders you need to hear this week. And I see a lot of people joining us right now. Welcome you all. Can't really wave on the IG, but I can wave in real life. And to our people who are live on the YouTube live, to our people on the IG live, head to the YouTube live if you can, if you're using another phone or if you're at home working from home or in the office. Make sure if you come to our YouTube page, you click the like button. Make sure you are subscribing, and then you can turn on post notifications so you keep up to date with all the great content that we'll be sharing with you guys, like what we're talking about right today. So our 5 reminders we all need to hear this week. First one is caring more about looking happy on social media than actually being happy in real life might just be the greatest mistake our generation continues to make.
Wow, that truly speaks for itself. Like as far as like on social media, what it was, well, it's supposed to be social network originally, but like you just said, the media of turning into what we wish and what we could have or what we want to have, it is a curse for this generation. You know, often we see things that we believe that this is it. You know, you see somebody with a new car, see somebody with a new house, and they're probably alone in that house, regretting everything that they have about that house or that new car. They just literally wish they could drive it off the bridge because it just doesn't make them happy. And we live in this generation where we have people are optimizing off this and playing a huge role in society. So it's actually a terrible thing on that side of what social media brings to us, right? Rather than use it for networking purposes and platforms and stores and allow us to connect with anybody around the world, is kind of hurting us. You know, it's the good with the bad, and that's tough because I'm aware of people that feel like they can't reach their potential of what social media is doing to them, how they gotta pretend to be somebody that they're not, how they have to keep up this facade, and internally is actually hurting them in the long term. Is not a good thing. It could get very dark, it could get very ugly. But we see, this is actually a stat, this is actually a fact. From when social media broke through in the early 2000s, there was a rise in suicide and self-harm amongst young people. There's a new, they're looking at a new mental disorder that has something to do with filters. I forgot that it falls in line with body dysmorphia, where people are going under these operations to look at how the filter makes them look. And like I said, it gets very dark, and these are the things that people don't see. So, like you just said, social media is a thing for this generation.
And to even let people know, like, it's serious when social media these apps had to come in and they started testing out throughout the world, where they started taking away the likes because they felt like it was, it was getting serious.
People were compromised, yep.
So that's one. Number 2, which is a reminder we need to hear this week. The most convincing sign that someone is living their best life is their lack of desire to show the world that they're living their best life. Your best life won't seek validation. And
that's amazing, because that's the flip side to what we talked about with social media, where we feel like we need to post everything that we do to show people that things are working out for us, right? You don't need validation for what works best for you. And regardless of validation, I guarantee if you post on social media, somebody's always doing it bigger and better, right? So if you're looking for validation in a crowd where there's no limits, then what are you really competing with, right? You're looking for validation in a crowd, there's no limit. You got a new job, you got a new house, and people are saying it's not big enough, or it's not a detached, but to use a sense of accomplishment, right? So you looking for validation in a crowd where there's no standard or no limits would be much difficult. So we don't need validation, right? We don't need approval or what it is that works for us, right? Dignity of choice. You came in this world alone. Even if you have a twin, right? You start to identify yourself and what it is that works out for you, right? So you came in this world alone. The only approval that you need is from the bank, and the approval that you need is from yourself.
Facts.
You don't need validation from nobody else. And don't worry about how anybody else looks or the results that they're getting, because you do not know what it is that they're going through. You do not know what it is that they have to bear with to get what it is that they want, right? So we don't need validation.
Our third one, this one is and great point on that one, because when we were doing the list of these, you saw, and now I understand why, because it fit hand in hand with our first one, the second one. Our third one is your gut often knows someone or something before you do. Your gut can spot ego, character flaws, and negative intentions because your gut instinct doesn't overlook past lessons like your mind does. You have to trust your gut when it comes to choosing the people or things you surround yourself with.
Trust your intuition. What it tells you is guiding you, right? Your usually your natural selection your very selection at the beginning is what it is that you want for yourself. And eventually you start to psych yourself or start making all the excuses and justification why you should go with the other option. But like you just say, your gut instinct, your intuition, right? What you naturally want for yourself is what it comes out. And that's what we always talk about. When 2 thoughts comes to your head, right? Go for the higher self, right? At the very moment. That's part of it, right? Your gut instincts.
And the one thing I liked about that one was it's crazy where we talked about how your gut can spot all these things, but don't overlook, like, your gut doesn't overlook your past lessons, because it's more in that moment than about what's happened in the and that one had me like, whoo.
It's not external. It's a process for you to start observing information from the outside before it gets to your mind. It's a process, right? But instantly processing information from within is a much shorter process.
So that one just there, trust our gut, trust our intuition. What's good, Brad? The fourth one is the only healthy and worthwhile comparison is you yesterday versus you today, and that's all you need to focus on.
That's it, right? That's actually from Dr. Jordan Peterson, was in his book. It's like, don't compare yourself to, the only person you should compare yourself with is the person who you were yesterday. Because on the metrics of comparing yourself to anybody else, it wouldn't work out. So it's best that you only compare yourself to who it is that you were yesterday. Are you better than who you were? It's not about, is your neighbor better? Is your siblings, your family, your enemies doing much better than you? But are you better than who it is that you were yesterday? All right? That's the only person you should compare yourself to, who you were yesterday.
And I see we got some questions here from Stacy. Do you guys read a lot of books on motivation?
Yes, I do a lot of I think that falls under self-care books or like self-help books. You know, not so, education about financing is also one of my things, but like, yes, a lot of things about self-help books to see yourself out of a dark place. Sometimes you need that perspective from others. If others has been through it, why not take that information from them? You don't have to go through it. So yes, You do read. I personally read a lot of books on self-motivation.
And I've been studying this guy, Stephen Bartlett. That's where I got this conversation from. He's one of the investors on Dragon's Den. And if you know about him, I'm getting into a groove of it because I was never a reader until I realized other people that are successful or that I wanted to like watch and learn are always reading. And shout out to my guy Dennis. We used to trade books all the time. Like we'll come monthly and just month to book. So I encourage for us to have friends who you can trade books with. And the richest man in Babylon, that was because of you. So like there's just when you have that core circle of people who are, there's a book you had recently that I need to read. The
12 rules.
The 12 rules.
So just Jordan Peterson, another great book. But yes, self-motivation is the only thing that you need to have, right? Don't leave it to external motivation, right? If you're waiting for Monday motivation to get you to do what it is that you need to do, that's not the answer. That's not what this platform is for. What if we don't show up? What if one Monday we don't show up? Does that mean your dreams goes into the wind? Self-motivation, I think, is the most important motivation, right? Inside.
And we have a lot of people that I see tuning in right now. Dookie Dukes, my brother, was good. To everybody, if you're tuning right now, we're just wrapping it up. But the beauty about what we do is we're live on YouTube, and this will be available to watch on YouTube. And then after this is done, will be available on podcasts, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, and all these things. So I encourage everybody to, if you use Apple Podcasts or use Spotify, go find us on there, Motivation Mondays Live. YouTube, of course, worldwide. Make sure you go click that subscription button. And Dookie Dukes, I know we got to reschedule. We got to get you back in here. I know Black History Month is coming up and all these things. So we'll get into conversation after that. But, we have one more to talk about. And this is just five reminders you need to hear this week. The fifth one is maybe the things you've been told you're meant to do won't make you happy. Maybe you don't have to go to university right after high school, get your career job in your 20s, early 20s, buy a house at 25, get married at 30, have kids at 35 and retire at 65. Everyone is different. Maybe your path to happiness should be too.
Yep, I totally agree with that. Like we get on this platform, we preach for people to be better themselves. And this doesn't necessarily mean go back to school. Doesn't mean necessarily go get into finance and be financially well off, but just become a better version of yourself, right? Don't let anybody tell you what kind of career path you should go into and if you want to make money and this, that, right? Passion, purpose, right? Have guidance, but don't be a follower, right? Have guidance, right? Listen to people, right? Listen to your parents for guidance and make decisions on your own, because eventually, truth be told, and those people whose parents are no longer here could testify to this, the people that you're looking for approval from, they're not going to be here forever. And then what do you do with your life, right? So your path to happiness has to be your own thing, right? There's certain things that is set on this life that we all need. The sense of the foundation, the necessity, the things, the food, the place that we want to live. But don't feel like if you decided to choose to go rent for the rest of your life, you're a failure. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, right? It's what makes you happy, right? It's guidance, right? But if there's something that you're looking for out of this life, they need to do the necessary things, right? Don't let anybody tell you that the path that you're going on is not for you. Right, it's your happiness. You decide. That's the great thing about humans that separates from all the species, that we've been given the dignity of choice, and often we like our choices misguided and directed by others. So we gotta start freeing yourself. Free yourself from what others people say or think. Be your own person. Don't let nobody stray you or push you to somewhere you do not want to be. Right? It's cool. Right? There's things that in life that we all know. Right? If you want to get a certain type of capital by income, it's either through education, which is very limited, or through creation, right? And we all know, and there's like just, don't get me wrong, but you got to be aware of what it is that you're asking for and take full responsibility. We all know what society values as far as monetary, right? We talk about STEM field, and we all know that that if you went into business as for the people, because it's either you're into things or you're into people, and we all know going into things pay more. That's society standards. Don't fight that battle. But that's what I'm talking about. But you can still get into people's business like we do on this platform and somehow gain some type of capital to invest in these other things. So it's not so much as I need to go to school and get into engineering to be successful, you could still get into your social work, ECE, nursing, any kind of thing that may not pay well, but use that capital to eventually play that side. That's why we said we help people through their purpose, passion, and financing, right? So don't get that confused. Like, these are not the battles that we should be fighting, but do not let nobody tell you that you need to go to school to get those answers. Study reverse engineering, find those people out there and ask them what it is that they did, right? Guidance, not leadership, guidance. Don't be a follower, be a student.
Mic drop, and I see a lot of people that are agreeing, and I see. Thank you so much for saying that. And feel free to share this. You can use your screen recorder. You can get on our page, share some of the things we have on there. If you are liking what we're doing, or you love today's topic, or if you're watching it on Spotify or listening to it on Spotify, watching on YouTube, listen to it on Apple Podcasts, make sure you share this out to your platforms. Just the same way how it helped you, it can help others. So that wraps up episode 17, week 93. We talked about success and failures, 7 truths to accept, and 5 reminders you need to hear this week. So if you're just joining us and you missed it, just take some time. What I love about this life, we got 24 hours in a day. So what you do with your time and how wisely you use your time is all up to you. So that wraps up Motivation Mondays. We thank you guys for watching on YouTube, on IG Live, and supporting each and every week. Shout out to Wavy Digital as well too. I'm MC Ebone.
Max the Speaker. We appreciate the love and support. Everybody have a productive week. DMs are open for questionings, and they just stay the course. We really appreciate the support. Share this out, and one thing I'm going to ask you guys to do is when you do something, and I'm talking about the platform, go back and listen again, right? You have a different perspective throughout the week. This is not just Monday. You should observe this information. Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day it is, go back and listen. You have a different grasp of it, like, I get it now. This is what it's talking about. Go back and watch other episodes, right? Self-help books. You don't just read something one time and you capture it. You watch a movie the first time, you capture the main point. After you start to see little things when you go back and watch that show. So that's what it's about. That's what information is about. You cannot observe one information all in one moment, right? We talk about writing it down, going back, repetition. You want to get good at something, repetition. You want to understand something, repetition, until you fully understand it.
And also, look forward to our first in-person event. That's going to be a partnership with the City of Toronto. Details will be coming out soon. So we'll actually get to meet some of you guys in person. I know we only see each other on social media, or we get to talk on social media through the platform, but we'll be soon having our first in-person Motivation Monday event. So details will be coming out soon. So make sure you're following us on all platforms. And there's a survey as well too. There's a survey in our link tree in our bio. So to our first comers, we want to know how you're able to hear about Motivation Monday. Check out our survey, fill it out, and we'll hear from you guys. But yeah, that wraps up today.
Thank you. See you guys next week. Appreciate the love and support. Motivation Monday out.